Sometimes you wonder why your deeper knowledge about the people seem more like a burden than a gift. Imagine this. You're talking with a friend about their relationship, and you can intuit exactly what is happening. It's like watching a movie you've already seen. But when you mention it to him, he says that you're overthinking it, or you walk into a room and feel immediately the tension that no one speaks. But you have learned to keep quiet, because the last time you mentioned it, people looked at you as if you were from someone else's planet. If any of these options sounds familiar, you've come to the right place, correct. You're what Carl Jung called an intuitive, introverted person. And today we will analyze why your greatest gift has become your greatest curse. I have investigated Jung's original ideas, and I have condensed them into a clear guide. At the end of this video, you will understand the psychological mechanism behind this fight, why it happens, and what's most important, how to transform this curse on the powerful gift that was meant to do. You will learn to connect your inner wisdom with the external impact, to base their visions in practical reality, already assume their role as what Jung called an essential visionary. Jung literally said that without this type, there would have been no prophets, nor visionaries, nor anyone who could see the deepest patterns that guide civilization forward. But here is where most people are stagnant. They believe that having this gift should make their lives easier. Why you see what others can't, so let's start by understanding exactly what this gift really is and why you feel it's so real. This is where the things are getting interesting. Most people think you're just very intuitive or maybe not very psychic, but Jung discovered something much more deep. You're not making this up. No, you're overthinking it, and you're definitely not crazy. What you're really doing is perceiving which Jung called internal objects. These are the psychological forces, emotions, and motivations that exist in the minds of people, but not are visible superficially. And these seem so solid and real to you, like a mountain or a river for those who look with your eyes. Here is the difference. Most people see the world through his five senses. That can touch, hear, and see. But you are seeing through what Jung called the unconscious, the part of the mind from which the people are not aware, but that constantly influences their thoughts, feelings, and actions. You are detecting the hidden patterns that drive how people act, patterns that everyone else goes through completely overlooked. Do you remember that situation with your friend? You weren't just guessing what was going on. You were actually seeing it, which Jung called an archetypal pattern. They are like universal patterns for the human behavior. The same basic stories and dynamics that are repeated in all cultures and times. In essence, you recognize that it was the same fundamental relational drama that has been developing among humans for thousands of years, only with different people and details. This is what no one tells you. You have access straight to what Jung called the collective unconscious. It's like a record shared psychological hard that contains the fundamental patterns of the human experience. The hero's journey, the wise mentor, the cycle of transformation. They are not just stories, are the true patterns that guide unconsciously the behavior of all, and you'll be able to see them develop in real time. That's why your perceptions they feel like lightning bolts out of nowhere. You're building logical conclusions step by step, but you receive images complete and holistic of this layer more deep reality. Jung put it perfectly. You perceive all the underlying processes of consciousness with almost the same clarity with which others record the external objects. Now, this is important. This ability is not random. Jung discovered that forms part of an essential human type. He literally said, if this guy doesn't have existed, there would not have been prophets in Israel. You are programmed to perceive the invisible forces that shape our world. But this is where most of people get stuck. They think this gift should make their lives easier. They expect that others understand your ideas when your gift becomes your prison immediate. They believe that their visions should translate seamlessly into practical success. And that's where it begins the curse. Because your greatest strength is about to become your greatest challenge. And we need to understand exactly how that happens. But here's where the thing gets complicated. One would think that having this incredible ability would make life easier, right? False. I'm not going to lie to you. This gift has a brutal trap, and the most people don't see it coming until that is already trapped. This is what really happens. As much as the more you trust your inner vision, the more you disconnect from everything else. Jung discovered that when a part of your mind is strengthened to the maximum, the part opposite becomes increasingly weaker until that practically hides. For you, this means that although you are becoming excellent at interpreting the people and perceiving patterns, you are becoming terrible at handling the basic and practical aspects of life. Jung called this your inferior function and is about to become your worst enemy. Think about it. You can perceive exactly what is wrong in a relationship from someone, but you don't remember where you put the car keys in. You see the global solution to a complex problem, but you forget to pay your bills time. You feel the emotional tension in a room instantly, but it is difficult to maintain your own physical space organized. This is not only annoying, but psychologically dangerous because your mind begins to see the practical world as the enemy. You start to think that pay attention to details, manage schedules, or deal with task physics is somehow unworthy of you or a waste of your talents, visionaries. But this is what no one tells you. When you ignore the world practical for a long time, no disappears without further ado. It becomes your against and with force. Jung discovered that these parts ignored by yourself do not disappear, but they build up pressure on you unconscious until they return to show up in your life in a real way harmful. Suddenly you get panic attacks for money, or you obsess over your becoming the focused visionary health, or you become strangely obsessed with organize a small corner of your life while everything else falls apart. That Jung said that the intuitive introverts live a very difficult. Your greatest strength becomes in your greatest weakness when he is not there balanced. But don't worry, there are a way out of this trap, and not it's about giving up your gifts. So how do we get out of this trap? Most people believe that the answer is to repress their gifts intuitive or simply try harder in practice. Both approaches fail. Resoundingly. The truth is this: no, you have to choose between being a visionary and be functional in the real world. Jung discovered that there is a third option: integration. But this is where things get complicated. You can't just force yourself to be good at practical things. Do you remember that lower function we were talking about? No does not respond to willpower or effort. In fact, the more you push, the more he resists. Jung discovered that the only way to heal this division is through what he called individuation. Basically, learning to work with all parts of your psyche in place to fight against them. Think about it, like becoming the CEO of your own mind, and instead of letting a department do it direct everything. This is what this really means to you. Instead of trying to kill your visions to focus on practical things, use your visionary ability to guide your engagement with the real world. Allow me to give you 3 concrete steps that really work. First, start with grounding practices. It is not about meditation or mysticism, but to consciously connect your awareness with your physical body and your immediate surroundings. Take walks paused where you concentrate only on what that you see, hear, and feel right now, without analysis or pattern searching, just pure sensory experience. Secondly, it creates systems for practical things instead of depending on motivation. Your brain is not programmed to remember details, so don't expect it to do so. Set up automatic bill payments, use calendar reminders with frequency, and create simple routines for the routine tasks that take your time and energy. Third, practice which Jung called active imagination. And instead of simply receiving your visions passively, begins to talk to them. Ask your questions, perceptions, challenge them, make them prove their worth before acting on consequence. This is what no one tells you. When you stop fighting the practical world and you start building bridges to it, your visionary gifts are strengthened, no weakened. You become what Jung considered the integrated type, someone capable of accessing wisdom deep and apply it in a way significant. You are no longer just a dreamer. You are a down-to-earth visionary who can change the world. Do you remember? When we started and you felt that your ideas were more of a burden than a gift. Now you understand the truth. You weren't broken. You only operated with half of your psychological tools. The integration, as well as becoming complete, it's not about perfection or constant improvement, but rather dedication to the process of working with conclusion all parts of oneself. Although it may seem like a cliche, success comes from loving the journey towards the balance, not just achieving a perfect destination where you will never again, you will have to struggle with practical tasks. Commit to the process integration. Make sure you are consistent with these rooting practices, even if you find them uncomfortable at first. Guys, remember this. Practice, experience, and hard work with perseverance surpasses natural talent on his own. His willingness to perform the humble work of involving your lower function is what transforms the curse in a gift. Thanks for watching. Subscribe if you want more content on how to understand and work with your psychology instead of against it. Let a thumbs up if you're ready to stop seeing your visionary gifts as a burden and begin to build bridges between your inner world and outside. See you next time.